Okay, good day class. So, unfortunately, it's been a long time since my last recording. So, probably, yung maririnig nyo is unsatisfactory because I've lost my apparatus na, no? So, bear with me na lang and try to listen, no? And if you have any other questions, just don't hesitate to email me, especially for any questions tsaka mga clarifications with regards to our lecture for today. Okay? So, let's start na. So, we will have two topics today. The amoeba, which is your intestinal and free-living amoeba, as well as yung ciliated. And then, the part 2 would be atrial as well as intestinal flagella. Okay? So, now, first topic is the subphylum Sarcodina, superclass Rhizophoda. Okay, for our general characteristics ng ating mga amoeba, they are generally wait lang, kuha tayong pen yan. So, they are generally simple protozoa, structurally simple because they are considered as unicellular. Iisa lang yung kanilang cell, no? And then they have no fixed shape and no cell wall, but please take note, meron silang periplast. So, what is periplast? So, ang periplast of a particular amoeba is considered as yung outermost layer. Ito, yung outermost layer nila, or for this picture sa baba, yan. Since wala silang cell wall, they do not have any cell wall, so that their main protection against the outside or the surroundings would be their periplast. It is the outermost layer of the amoeba rich in proteins. Okay? Now, another thing, meron din silang organelle that we have what we call the vacuoles. So, purpose nito is for your storage and their transport. So, they have two regions of cytoplasm, endoplasm, and ectoplasm. So, nasa pangalan na mismo, pag nasa loob na cytoplasm, that would be endo. Pag nasa labas, that would be their ectoplasm. Okay? So, mainly, the ectoplasm is for their locomotion. And then, you may see it later on, no? Di-discuss natin na yung main locomotory organelle nila is what we call the pseudopod. And yun yung nasa ectoplasm. Additionally, they have two stages, the cysts and the trophozoite. And these two stages, ito na rin yung kanilang diagnostic stage because both of these are usually seen in the specimens, no? So, mapapansin nyo, since dalawa lang ang stage, so napakadali lang ng kanilang mga life cycle. Okay? And next, for reproduction, asexual po. Okay? Meaning, kapag cystic stage, nuclear division. And pag trophozoite, it is your binary fission. Okay? And yan. So, for today, again, di-discuss natin intestinal and free-living amoeba. Next. Now, so for the general characteristics of your or the classification of protozoa according to their locomotory organelle, kung paano sila gumagalaw. Okay? Yan. Locomotion or locomotory organelle. So for your Sarcodina and Rhizophoda or yung mga amoeba, ang locomotory organelle nila is pseudopods. So, yan po yung finger-like structures nila. Yan, yung nasa dulo. Kung saan parang gumagapang sila. Okay. So, imagine niyo na lang. No? Yan. Ginagamit nila yan para gumapang sila. Next, for the Mastigophora or the Flagellata. So, meron silang flagella. So, parang mga tail-like structures yan. Yan. Okay. And then for Ciliata or Ciliophora, they have the cilia. So, meron silang parang hair-like structures sa labas ng or dun sa pinaka-outermost layer nila. And so, for the apicomplexans, which will be our last topic of the parasitology, they are indefinite. So, iba-iba sa kanila, no? So, yung iba sa kanila, titira lang sa loob ng RBC, yung iba, titira sa loob ng mga WBCs, and etc. Okay? So, ayan po. Again, so these are the 4 classifications of your protozoans according to their locomotory organelle. Okay? Next. So, these are the 2 main stages. Ulitin natin, no? Dalawa lang ang main stage ng amoeba, no? Sa ibang libro, you may have noticed na meron pa silang mga exist tsaka mga pre-cyst stage, ganon, no? So, pero mainly, tandaan nyo, dalawa lang talaga, or dalawa lang yung pinaka-main amoeba stages natin, which are your cystic stage tsaka trophozoite stage. So, pag cystic stage, these are what we call the infective, no? So, infective forms, and they are usually non-motile. So, anong itsura nila? Bilog lang sila. So, if you recall during our parasitology lab last time, no, pinapahanap yung Entamoeba histolytica. And as you may have noticed, sobrang liit nila, tas bilog lang sila. Diba? And that is their cystic stage. Okay? So, they are round or oval, refractile. Ayan, that's why, pag sinabi po refractile, ibig sabihin, nung nasa microscope tayo, and fine adjust nyo sila, no, parang meron, nakikita nyo na refractive sila, no, napapansin niyo. Okay, they are also thick-walled with usually more than one nucleus. So, in cases of the number of nucleus, so it depends on the species of the amoeba, okay, in question. And lastly, ang mga cysts, they are found in, most of the times, they are found in formed stools, no? But not limited, okay? So, pwede mo rin siya makita sa mga diarrheic, mucoid, no? Loose, no? Pwede rin. Pero, most of the times, nasa formed stool sila, okay? On the other hand, pag trophozoite, these are what we call the reproducing. So, ano kasi, yung kanilang reproduction, yung asexual reproduction process nila, it is their binary fission. Okay, next, we have trophozoites are also known as your feeding form. Okay, and they are also motile. Okay, take note of that, Pag cystic stage, pag bilog lang, they are non-motile. Sumusunod lang sa flow. Sumusunod lang sa Brownian movement. Pag naman trophozoite, they are motile. Dito lumalabas yung kanilang locomotory organelle na ang tawag natin ay pseudopods. Okay? If you recall, no? Dun sa previous slides, di ba? And usually, with only one nucleus. Usually po, no? But, most of the times, but sometimes, hindi naman. Okay? And ang trophozoite, ito po, totoo po ito. They are mostly found only in diarrheic stools. Sometimes sa loose at saka sa mucoid. However, never ka makakita sa mga formed, semi-formed stools. Kumbaga, dun sa mga watery, diarrheic, loose, or sa mucoid, dun mo lang makikita yung mga trophozoite. Okay? And they should be examined after 30 minutes. Please take note of this, no? This is important. We have what we call the 30-minute rule. 30-minute rule. So, ano po yung 30-minute rule na yun? So, once you have received a diarrheic stool specimen in the laboratory, you should immediately examine it or within 30 minutes. Bakit? Anong mangyayari after 30 minutes? So, after 30 minutes or more, ang mangyayari sa diarrheic stool is magkakaroon ng disintegration ng mga trophozoites. Okay? So, meaning, kung meron man talagang trophozoite yung yung sample mong yun, after 30 minutes, mamamatay or masisira yung mga trophozoites na yun. Okay? So, hindi mo sila makikita. Magkakaroon ng false negative result. Okay? So, ulitin ko. Diarrheic stools should be examined 30 minutes of passage. So, after tumae. Yun ang sinasabi dyan. After tumae, pagka-receive mo, examine mo yon within 30 minutes after yan tumae. Kung hindi, ang mangyayari is masisira or disintegration of the trophozoites. Okay? Next, for the diagnosis. So, of all intestinal, since pinag-usapan natin intestinal, malamang the specimen would be stool. Okay? DFS, so that is your direct fecal smear. So, we have been doing this noong prelim and midterm period. So, solutions may be added. Yan yung mga nasa questions for research ninyo. Quencel solution, methylene blue, Lugol's iodine, D'Anthony's solution. And dagdag nyo rin yung ginagamit ninyo is the NSS or the normal saline solution. Also, we have the concentration techniques, AECT, tsaka FECT. Tapos, we have also your stool culture. So, pag sinabing stool culture, yung mga stool specimen or yung mga tae, ilalagay sa isang culture media. Okay, so for example, this is the culture media. Lalagay mo dyan yung tae. And then, ang mangyayari, after incubation, after, sabihin natin 24 hours, after 24 hours, ang mangyayari is tutubo yung mga, or magkakaroon ng growth ng mga entamoeba, ng amoeba, no? So, culture ang tawag natin doon. Ibig sabihin, we try to binubuhay natin sila or pinapadami natin sila. So, para saan yung culture na yan? So, syempre, for research, for further studies, or pwede rin for anti-parasitic susceptibility testing. Okay? So, yun yung mga purpose yan. So, for examples of our stool culture, we have the Lox egg serum, LES, the Buex and basa dito, Drolaf rice egg saline or RES. Buex and Drolaf, tapos rice egg saline, and then nutrient agar saline, and then diamond. Okay? And now, next is the serological procedures. Ito, please take note, no? Para saan to? Mainly for the diagnosis of liver abscess caused by your entamoeba histolytica. Ulitin ko, para saan yung serological procedure? For the diagnosis of your liver abscess caused by the entamoeba histolytica. So, ano yung mga serological procedures? So, yung mga usual na binabanggit natin from prelim period to midterm period. You have the ELISA, indirect hemagglutinin test, gel diffusion precipitin, indirect immunofluorescence. Hindi na tayo magde-delve thoroughly sa mga to because these are separate topics on separate course natin. Okay? Sa immunosero subject course yan. Okay. And ito, yung nasa baba po, may asterisk yan, no? So, syempre, for free-living amoeba, so instead of stool, malamang CSF ang kailangan ninyo or brain biopsy or kung sa kasama ang palad, autopsy kung patay na yung pasyente. Okay? So, for free-living amoeba, ang mga diagnosis natin would be DNA analysis, antigen detection in CSF, or brain biopsy, or yun nga, autopsy. For the treatment, prevention, and control, ang treatment natin mainly for the entamoeba histolytica, metronidazole, tinidazole, diloxanide furoate. Okay, sorry. Ulitin natin. Metronidazole, tinidazole, and diloxanide furoate. Okay. And for your free-living amoeba, a combination of your antibiotics and antifungal. For the prevention and control, same lang dun sa mga previous parasite natin na may kinalaman sa stool. So, sanitary disposal of the human feces, provision for safe water supply, regulation of food handlers, and avoid using human excreta as fertilizer. So, ano lang, common sense kumbaga. Ayan. So, first topic is intestinal amoeba. Okay? Natakpan lang. Intestinal amoeba. So, amoeba, ang genus na madalas dito is the family Entamoeba. Kapag narinig nyo na yon, so these are a lot of species under this, no? So, they are what we call the true amoeba. Bakit? Because they contain peripheral chromatin and chromatoid bodies. Take note nyo yun, ha? Ulitin ko, ang Entamoeba, they are true amoeba kasi meron silang peripheral chromatin and chromatoid bodies. So, para saan may chromatoid bodies? So, nandito po kasi yung RNA production ng isang organism or yung mga amoeba, no? So, basically, yan yung parang nagiging energy source, kumbaga, or yung reason ba't gumagalaw sila. Okay? So, peripheral chromatin and chromatoid bodies. Peripheral chromatin is visible nuclear membrane present in cyst and trophozoite form. Tapos, chromatoid bodies are found in cyst, not in trophozoite forms. Ulitin ko, ha. Ang peripheral chromatin present in cyst and trophozoite form. However, ang chromatoid bodies, they are found in cyst, not in trophozoite forms. Okay? So, members ng family Entamoeba, we have the Entamoeba, Endolimax, and Iodamoeba. Ang Endolimax and Iodamoeba, they do not contain peripheral chromatin and chromatoid bodies. Okay? Edi taliwas siya, no? So, pag Entamoeba lang, erratum agad. No, Entamoeba, yan, dito yan. Itong Endolimax and Iodamoeba, since they do not contain the peripheral chromatin and chromatoid bodies, therefore, they are not members of family Entamoeba. I'll just check my book, no? Wait lang. Okay, no? So, apologies. Ulitin natin, no? Pag family Entamoeba, no, members niyan is, eto nga din, Entamoeba, Endolimax, Iodamoeba. Pag ang pinag-uusapan naman is yung genus na Entamoeba, okay, kunwari yung Entamoeba histolytica or yung mismong sa pangalan nila may Entamoeba, okay, ito yung tinutukoy na yun, true Entamoeba po sila. Okay, so meaning ang Endolimax and Iodamoeba, they are also members of family Entamoeba. However, sa pangalan nila or yung genus nila, walang Entamoeba. Therefore, they are not true amoeba. Kasi they do not contain peripheral chromatin and chromatoid bodies. Okay? If medyo nalito pa kayo, you can email me, no, to clarify or to have, or if you have any other questions regarding that. Ulitin ko, family Entamoeba, member natin, Entamoeba, Endolimax, Iodamoeba. Pag sinabi or tinutukoy is yung genus na Entamoeba, these are your true amoeba since they contain peripheral chromatin and chromatoid bodies. Endolimax and Iodamoeba, they are member of family Entamoeba. However, sa pangalan nila, walang Entamoeba. Hence, they do not contain peripheral chromatin and chromatoid bodies. No? Apologies kung medyo nakakalito. Next. Ayan. Now, genus. Ayan, ito na po, no, genus. So, ibig sabihin, dun sa first name nila, may Entamoeba. So, genus Entamoeba, they are true amoeba since they contain peripheral chromatin and chromatoid bodies. Peripheral chromatin is visible nuclear membrane present in cyst in trophozoite form. Ayan. So, same lang nung kanina, no? So, same lang nung kanina. Okay? So, next. Ayan po, no? So, that is your chromatoid body, karyosome. Ayan. Okay, next. Itong ulit-ulit siya. Ayan. Okay. So first member of the Entamoeba genus in the Entamoeba family is the Entamoeba histolytica. So this is the only, ulitin ko, this is the only pathogenic intestinal amoeba. Again, Entamoeba histolytica is the only pathogenic intestinal amoeba. So the disease that it could cause is the amoebic dysentery, amoebic liver abscess, no? And please take note na itong amoebic liver abscess, yung appearance niya is the anchovy sauce liver aspirate. Ibig sabihin, yung fluid na nailalabas or nai-aspirate from the liver is nagkukulay anchovy sauce, yung parang sa alamang, no, ng mga Ilocano. Okay? So, may picture tayo later on. Ano pa? We have also what we call the colonic perforation. Nagkakaroon ng flask-shaped ulcers. So, ito po yan, no? In histology, ayan. Colonic perforation. So, yung mismong colon, yung mga walls or yung lining ng colon mo, okay, since histolytica nga no? Lysis ng histo. So, tissues. Kinakain niya yung mga tissues mo. So, ang gagawin ng parasite na yan, kakainin niya hanggang magkaroon ng ulcerations or ng mga laso-laso sa may colons mo. Okay? Next, nagkakos din siya ng secondary amoebic meningoencephalitis. And lastly, fulminant amoebic colitis. Ito yung pinaka-rare, which is, anong mangyayari is, nagkakaroon ng severe necrosis. So, instead of ulcerations, so after ng ulcerations, but hanggang pagpatuloy pa rin na sinisira yung colon wall mo, ang nangyayari is, nagkakaroon ng necrosis or tissue death. No? And sino yung pinaka-at risk sa FAC or the fulminant amoebic colitis? Yung mga immunocompromised patients, no? Yung immunocompromised. Bakit? Kasi nga mas nagiging prone sila sa mga secondary infections. And syempre, since they are immunocompromised, mas mababa yung protection nila or immune system nila. Okay? Therefore, it might lead to severe hospitalizations or even worse, death. Okay? So, ang infection of your Entamoeba histolytica is often accompanied by excuse me, the Charcot-Leyden crystals. Okay? The mode of transmission is ingestion, habitat is colon, treatment yung mga nabanggit kanina. So, ayan po. Yung sa liver abscess, yung anchovy sauce, no? Na liver aspirate. It's a mixture of your broken down na RBCs, mga hepatocytes, and mga WBCs, and etc. No? So, kaya ganyan yung itsura niya. Kasi ito naman yung ulcer shape, no? So, sino nga ba yan? Yan yung colonic perforation. So, ayan po yung life cycle. Napakasimple lang, no? So, again, diagnostic stage natin and your infective stage would be the cyst and the trophozoite. So, direct lang. Fecal-oral route, tapos diretso ng colon. Okay? So, ayan, we have the pictures of your Entamoeba histolytica. At please take note na yung isa sa mga stain dito is what we call the trichrome. Ayan, take note po, no? Trichrome stain. So, yung trichrome stain, it shows the cysts of the, yung nuclei of the cysts. So, ayan, makikita nyo, yung nuclei. Mas nagiging prominent siya sa trichrome stain. Unlike dito sa mga unstained, ayan, NSS pool ito. Ito iodine, as you can see, hindi ganun ka kita yung mga nuclei ng mga cysts. Okay? Yan. So, the trophozoite, it is unidirectional or progressive motility. So, pag sinabing progressive motility, pwedeng straight line lang siya, gumagapang, no? gumagapang or paikot yung ano niya, yung rotation or yung galaw niya. Okay, ng pseudopod niya. So, regular and even peripheral chromatin pattern, centrally located karyosome, yun, ito po yun, yung bilog na may, yung bilog na parang may tuldok sa likod, that is what we call karyosome, and with some ingested RBCs. Okay, cysts, they are mature. The most mature cyst is quadrinucleated, which have 4 nucleus, clean cytoplasm, devoid of bacteria. Tandaan nyo po yan, no? Please take note, ang cyst, wala siyang kinain na bacteria unless the specimen was permitted to stand at room temperature before examining. So, if nakita nyo na yung cyst niya, ito, nagkaroon ng parang may mga bacteria sa loob, okay, i-assume nyo na nagtagal sa room temperature yung stool sample ninyo. Okay? Now, anong itsura ng chromatoidal bars? Please take note ito, ha. Ayan, pakitandaan. Cigar, coffin, or rod, or sausage-shaped chromatoidal bars. Sino po yan? Si Entamoeba histolytica. Okay, ito pa po. Please remember, Entamoeba histolytica resembles the following. Number 1 sa lahat, ang pinakakamukha niya is si Entamoeba dispar. That's why, paano tayo nagre-report in the clinical laboratory pag nakakita ng suspected na Entamoeba histolytica? Meron tayong Entamoeba histolytica / Entamoeba dispar sin, no? Kasi nga magkamukha sila. Okay? However, the main difference, ang histolytica is pathogenic whereas ang dispar is non-pathogenic. Moshkovsky, medyo kamukha niya rin, but it is non-pathogenic at the same time, rare din yan. Hartmanni is kamukha niya, however, smaller size. Again, ito po yung mga kamukha ni histolytica. Yung 1:1 na similarities niya is si dispar. Moshkovsky is non-pathogenic and rare, kamukha niya rin. Hartmanni, kamukha niya, however, smaller in size. Okay? And also non-pathogenic. Lahat po ito non-pathogenic. Ulitin ko, ha, the only intestinal pathogenic amoeba is the Entamoeba histolytica. Okay, next. So, since tapos na tayo, iisa lang naman yung intestinal pathogenic amoeba. So, punta na tayo sa mga commensals. So, if you recall, pag sinabi pong commensals, pag commensal, yan yung mga parasite na kung saan nakikitira lang sila sa loob mo, no, without causing any harm, no? So, yun yung relationship niya with the human host, no? Ibig sabihin, itong mga amoeba na to, naturally, nandyan sila sa katawan mo and they do not cause any harm at all, usually. Okay? Unless, syempre, bumaba yung immune system mo or naging sila opportunistic. Okay? So, first commensal amoeba is the Entamoeba coli. So, trophozoite niya is sluggish with thick, irregular chromatin pattern and large eccentric nucleus. It is more granular and vacuolated yung kanyang endoplasm and the cytoplasm usually with bacteria. Okay, please take note, no? Kaya siya tinawag na commensal kasi imbis na tissues, si histolytica kasi kinakain niya tissues, di ba? Tissues ng host. Dito, si Entamoeba coli, ang kinakain niya, mga bacteria and intestinal debris. Okay? So, hindi siya kakain ng RBC, hindi siya kakain ng mga tissues mo, and etc. Okay? The cyst has a mature, yung mature cyst niya has 8 nucleus and large in size. Granular and junky cytoplasm. The chromatoidal bars with splinter ends, ang tawag natin dito is the witch broom stick. Okay? Ito yun. Yung parang ganun daw siya. Yung ganyan. Yan. Next is the Entamoeba gingivalis. So, ito naman, wala siyang cystic stage. So, basically, trophozoite lang siya. So, it is found in the mouth. It lives in your gums and teeth surface. And it is considered as the first amoeba to be discovered. And it is the only amoeba that ingests WBC. Again, this is also a commensal amoeba, meaning it is usually non-pathogenic. Okay? It can be transmitted oral to oral. Okay? Alam nyo na yan. And oral to anal. So, again, it's for your imagination na lang, no? Next. Commensal amoeba. Next one is the Endolimax neina. Ayan. So, again, pag nakita nyo yung pangalan na neina, maliit. No? So, small and quadrinucleated. So, 4 din yung kanyang nucleus. Same with the histolytica. However, Endolimax, ibig sabihin, walang peripheral chromatin or chromatoidal bar din. And has large, distinct blot-like, please take note large, distinct blot-like karyosome. Okay? Ito po yan. Ayan. Pag sinabing blot, yung parang natapon na ink, ganun, no? Blot. Ink blot, yung ganun. No? Yung normal kasi na karyosome, ganyan lang, diba? Yung sa kanila, parang ganito. Okay? Endolimax neina. Next, si Iodamoeba bushlii. So, yan po yung pinakita namin in our parasitology lab. Okay? It is characterized by the large glycogen vacuole stained with iodine. So, wala siyang peripheral chromatin. Ito po, kung hindi iodine yung stain mo, mapapansin mo parang clear lang siya. Ito po siya, no? Yung large glycogen vacuole. However, pag stained with iodine, makikita mo na mapupuno yung laman ng glycogen vacuole. Kaya ang pangalan niya is Iodamoeba. Okay? Kasi pag in-stain mo ng iodine, kitang-kita mo yung large glycogen vacuole. Again, member siya ng family Entamoeba, pero since ang genus niya is Iodamoeba, wala siyang peripheral chromatin. So, here are your tawag dito, the summary. So, ito po, hindi na natin diniscuss si Dientamoeba fragilis. So, wala lang din siyang cystic stage. Entamoeba poleki, same lang, no? And etc. Okay? So, please take note, ulitin ko, pag Entamoeba histolytica, siya lang yung kaisa-isang intestinal pathogenic amoeba, whereas yung the others, they are all commensals. So, next one is the free-living amoeba. Okay? So, nasa pangalan nila, no? Free-living. Ibig sabihin, yung mga amoeba na to, even though walang host, no? Pwede silang mag-roam around or pwede silang mabuhay. Okay? So, free-living, they are also considered as the opportunistic. So, bakit opportunistic? Once again, normal lang na nakatira sila kung saan sila nakatira, hindi sa loob ng human host, no? However, if the opportunity arise na biglang may mag-swimming sa kung saan sila nakatira, no? Maaaring pumasok sila sa loob ng host and mag-cause sila ng kanilang disease. Hence, they are referred as pathogenic. So, they live independently in soil or water. Take note, ang mga amoeba or the free-living amoeba, most of them nasa water. They do not require a human or animal host. Okay? So, normally, they live as either pagothrops, so in aquatic habitats where they feed on bacteria. So, yan po yung normal nila, no? And kailan sila nagiging opportunists, no? Or opportunistic? Kapag pumapasok sila sa humans, no? They may produce serious infection of the CNS or the central nervous system and the eye. Okay? Also, take note, we refer them as amphizoic. Ito po. Amphizoic, meaning it's the ability of an amoeba to live in two worlds, so free living organism and also as endoparasites. Okay? Ayan. So, meron po tayong mga tatlo na i-discuss, si Naegleria, and then si Acanthamoeba, and I think hindi naman natin masyadong di-discuss na, pero babanggitin din natin si Balamuthia, no? So, ayan. So, ayan, ngayon pa lang, papakita na natin or malalaman nyo na pag sinabing GAE, GAE, or Granulomatous Amoebic Encephalitis, pinag-uusapan natin is Acanthamoeba and Balamuthia mandrillaris. Pag naman pinag-uusapan is PEM or PAM or Primary Amoebic Meningoencephalitis, pinag-uusapan natin yung B, si Naegleria fowleri. First one, Acanthamoeba. The disease is amoebic keratitis. It is from the contaminated contact lens cleaning solutions, no? Pero malala is yung Granulomatous Amoebic Encephalitis or yung GAE, no? So ang Balamuthia mandrillaris kasama si Acanthamoeba, no? So sila yung nagko-cause ng GAE. Ano ba nangyayari pag Granulomatous Amoebic Encephalitis? So sa pangalan pa lang, encephalitis, meaning sa utak. Pumupunta doon yung opportunistic na free-living amoeba and nagkukos ng granuloma. Ano nga ba yung granuloma? So, granuloma is once nag-invade ang isang foreign object or so in this case, yung mga amoeba sa isang tissue, and for this case, syempre yung sa utak, anong mangyayari? Susugod doon yung mga WBCs and yung mga other immune response hanggang sa mamatay yung parasite and also the surrounding tissues around it. And of course, magkakaroon ng necrosis and at the end of the day, mamamatay yung pasyente mo. Okay? Ano pa? We have what we call the disseminated granulomatous amoebic disease. So, instead of nasa utak, pwede rin makakita sa skin, sa lungs, pulmonary, and sa sinus. Mode of transmission for your Acanthamoeba is contact lens, yun nga, yung amoebic keratitis, no? Open wounds, okay, and also inhalation. So, marami siyang pwedeng pasukan. The trophozoites are single large nucleus with centrally nucleolus with small spiny filaments known as your Acanthopodia. Okay? So, if we go back to the life cycle, makikita nyo, ayan, meron siyang Acanthopodia. Patusok, no? Ayan. Patusok. Okay? Tapos, yung cyst niya is double-walled and wrinkled. Ayan. Wrinkled and double-walled. Okay? Ayan. So, wrinkled outer layer and inner layer is polygonal. So, ayan. So, we have three species under the Acanthamoeba na makikita sa CSF. We have the Acanthamoeba culberstoni. So, usually seen in immunocompromised Granulomatous Amoebic Encephalitis, Acanthamoeba castellani, and Acanthamoeba astronixis. For the eyes, meron tayong Acanthamoeba castellani, Acanthamoeba polyphaga na nagkakos din ng corneal ulcer. Ayan, no? Dito natin, tawag dito ay Cantaphobia, tapos Ipodia, tapos ayan, double walled siya. Okay. Ayan. So, ayan, if you can see, no, yan, meron tayo siyang mga yan, granuloma, no, na nagkaroon ng necrosis doon sa kanyang utak. Okay, ayan. So, and then this one is the amoebic keratitis caused by infected contact lens solutions. Next is the Naegleria, and then this is also considered as the brain-eating amoeba. So the pathogenic species, we have the Naegleria fowleri, and in the Philippines, we have the Naegleria philippinensis. So ito, instead of the 2 forms na cyst and flagella, dito meron tayong 3 forms. Please take note, 3 forms, ulitin ko kanino, Naegleria, amoeba, flagellate, and lastly, the amoeboflagellate. So, the disease dito is the primary amoebic meningoencephalitis or yung PAM. And ang itsura niyan is you have a purulent spinal fluid. So, maraming nana yung makukuwang spinal fluid sa'yo. So, kamukha yun ng mga pasyenteng suffering with bacterial meningitis. And then for the purulent spinal fluid, you will notice na ang mga patients suffering from Naegleria infection, doon makikita yung mga motile amoeba. The mode of transmission for your Naegleria is intranasal or oral, diving or swimming during summer in a brackish or fresh water. An Naegleria species can survive in high temperature and high chlorinated water. Okay? So, ayan, no? Hirap niyang patayan, di ba? Can survive in high temperature and high chlorinated water. So, even though nililinis nila yung mga swimming pools with chlorine, no? Mabubuhay pa rin ang Naegleria. Even though sobrang init na ng panahon, summertime, mabubuhay ang Naegleria. Ngayon, meron po tayong cases wherein patients who have taken cannabis or marijuana, no, makikita na they prevented the growth of Naegleria fowleri, no. So ano ba yung metabolite or yung byproduct ng marijuana? That is your delta-9 tetrahydrocannabinol. O, take note, ha. So, some patients or some cases or in your patients na nag-take ng marijuana, no, and meron silang byproduct or yung metabolite na tinatawag na delta-9 tetrahydrocannabinol from taking the marijuana, it would inhibit the growth of Naegleria fowleri. Okay? So, napipigilan or hindi natutuloy yung pagkain ng amoeba ng utak nila. Okay? So, ayan, ulitin ko, meron siyang 3 form. So, meron siyang amoeba, flagellate, amoeboflagellate. So, cyst, na flagellate, and then the amoeboflagellate or the trophozoite form. Okay, so this is the amoeba, this is the flagellate, ayan, nasa pangalan niya mismo, and then this is the amoeboflagellate, yung trophozoite form. Please take note na yung trophozoite form niya, ayan, ito po, yung papansin nyo, or ito na lang, okay, meron siyang blunt lobopodia. Ayan. Please take note, ha. Ulitin ko. Ang Naegleria, yung kanyang trophozoite form, meron siyang blunt lobopodia. Unlike yung acanthamoeba, meron siyang acanthapodia. Okay? Next. Ayan. So, by the way, napag-flagellate, ayan, sneak peek na yan ng next topic natin. Meron silang mga buntot. Okay, so that is your primary amoebic meningoencephalitis. As you can see, no, parang nagkakaroon ng mucoid na layer dun sa utak, no, and namumula-mula din. Ayan, kita nyo, no, namumula-mula. So, yung mga pamumula na yan, most likely infected na siya ng or kinakain na yung kanyang utak ng Naegleria fowleria. Yan, kita nyo, no? Sobrang na-invade na yung utak niya. So, ayan. Naegleria and Acanthamoeba, meron tayong kino-consider na high mortality. What do we mean by mortality? Ibig sabihin yung napakarami or mataas yung mga namamatay, no? Because survival is rare. The main reason is there are no effective drugs that could penetrate the CNS, the central nervous system. Well, okay, kasi nga yun yung inaatake nila utak, 'di ba? We have the GAE or the granulomatous amoebic encephalitis for Acanthamoeba and Balamuthia. On the other hand, meron tayong PAM or the primary amoebic meningoencephalitis for the Naegleria. So, a combination of antibiotics and antifungal drugs yung laging pinang-titreat dito. So, hindi tayo gumagamit ng mga azoles, no? So, ginagamit amphotericin B, ganyan, no, etc. So, ayan. So, Acanthamoeba, aka or also known as your Trojan horse. No, bakit Trojan horse? So, ang Acanthamoeba po kasi, usually, it can carry the bacteria papunta sa loob ng host, ng human host. And yung mga bacteria na yun, pag nakapasok na sa human host, saka sila lalabas kapag wala nang papatay sa kanila. So, usually kasi, itong tatlong bacteria na to, Salmonella, Legionella, and Mycobacteria, pag nakapasok siya sa human host, usually, the immune cells, no, or yung immune defense ng human, papatayin sila. However, instead of mamamatay sila, poprotektahan sila ng Acanthamoeba dahil nasa loob sila. Okay? So, again, Trojan horse. Sino yan? Acanthamoeba. Naegleria naman, brain-eating amoeba. Bakit? Meron tayong primary amoebic meningoencephalitis. The infective stage, for both of them, trophozoites. Diagnostic stage for Acanthamoeba, cyst and trophozoites in the tissue. Maaring brain biopsy, maaring brain autopsy. Naegleria naman, the diagnostic stage would be trophozoites in the CSF and tissue. Pag flagellated form naman, CSF lang. Okay? And last is the ciliated amoeba. And isa lang naman to. Don't worry guys. And I believe you have seen this because this was the easiest one to focus during our laboratory, no? Kasi sobrang laki niya unlike the other ones because this is also considered as the largest pathogenic amoeba. And this is the Balantidium coli. So this is considered as the largest protozoan and the only ciliate to parasitize humans. Okay? The disease is considered as zoonotic. Ibig sabihin galing sa mga hayop, no? Balantidiasis. Okay, mode of transmission is fecal oral. So the definitive host are your pigs and monkeys. Pero mostly pigs, kaya nakakapitalize yan. The habitat is the cecum and the large intestine. So the Balantidium coli, the trophozoite niya is oval, pointed at anterior end and covered with cilia. However, if you may have noticed, no, during your microscopy, hindi masyadong prominent yung mga cilia niya, no? Ano yung prominent? Ito po, yung kanyang macronucleus. Tawag natin dyan, macronucleus. And sometimes, yung iba, may nakikita kayong mga micronucleus, no, yung maliliit. So, the cysts are spherical, covered with thick, hard cyst wall with cilia. Cilia po, yan yung hair-like structures niya sa kanyang outermost layer. Okay? So, yan po yung kanyang locomotory organelle. Yan po, yung mga hair na yan yung pinanggagalaw niya. Okay? So, infective stage, yung cyst, and the macronuclei is prominent. However, yung micronuclei, kailangan mo talagang i-focus ng matindi para makita. But it is usually not prominent. So, ayan po yung ating Balantidium coli. So, same lang. The diagnostic stage is the cystic and the trophozoite stage. Tapos, mode of transmission, syempre, acquired by host ingestion of contaminated food or water. Contaminated syempre ng tae ng tao na may balantidiasis or ng pigs or ng monkeys. Okay? And that's it. Yun na yun. Diba? So, we have already finished the part 1 of our discussion. So, pwede kayong mag-rest muna. Okay? And then, the next part would be the atrial and intestinal flagellates. Okay? So, thank you. Again, ulitin ko, if you have any questions, email nyo lang ako. Don't hesitate.